Hello my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. Today I am starting the July sew along for Backstitch. The sew along, as always, it will be hosted in the Backstitch backroom on Facebook. Link to everything that I'm using and the groups will be in the description below as always. And today we are doing a sew along with no actual pattern because I will give you the measurements that you need. This is somewhat my pattern. I created this for us to use for free, obviously. This is a Christmas in July sew along, if you will. We are going to make a big blanket. We are going to make a blanket that would work for a queen and a king size bed. So let's turn our hoarded, you know who I'm talking about, let's turn the hoarded Minky we've been stashing in our closets and shelves into gorgeous big blankets for your guest room, for your primary room, for any room in your house where you have a bed, or if you have a big couch and you need a huge blanket to snuggle up in during the winter months. And not only, I use my blankets year round because I love my AC like super low, like freezing. If I could get it freezing in the house, it would be perfect for me because I like the coziness of a Minky blanket. For this tutorial and for this sew along, which I think we will keep to just 3 days of video because it's super easy. It's pretty much cut, do straight lines and enjoy the product. It's a super easy sew along, definitely a beginner friendly one. It will just yield you a huge project, but the sewing techniques are super easy. So for this 3-day sew along, on day 1 we will just cut the Minky and have everything ready. On day 2 we will sew the front and then we will sew the back, and on day 3 we will put them together and we're adding a little secret zipper pocket on the blanket for, you know, that occasional chocolate bar you might want to stash there. Not that I'm encouraging you to eat chocolate in the bed, but if you use it in the living room, I mean, okay, fine, we won't say for that chocolate bar. We'll say for that magazine or a book that you want to have, or I don't know, for anything you want. The pocket is optional, so you can definitely skip it, but I figure it will be a fun twist on a regular big Minky blanket. So for this project I am using an adult topper for the front. These are all for the upcoming Christmas 2022 collection from Backstitch Fabrics. These are all super soft Minky. I am using my favorite topper from the collection by far. It's called In This House, and I'll show it to you open in just a little bit. And then I'm using a 2-yard cut of those beautiful Christmas VHS tapes with classical Christmas movies, super adorable. Then I am using this beautiful coordinate that has popcorn and M&Ms and all kinds of Christmas candy. Super cute. And then instead of a second topper for the back, I decided to go with another main print, which is these beautiful ornaments that include all classic Disney ornaments, from various characters to, you know, those classic shoes that you can find in the stores. I love this, super cute. If you want to have one topper for the front and one topper, and I do insist adult topper, not child topper, or an adult topper. This is a big project, you cannot use a child topper for this. So you can use either one topper for the front and one for the back, and then two 2-yard cuts of Minky for the borders, and I'll show you how we're going to cut it in just a second. Or you can use, like I am, 3 2-yard cuts and 1 topper. Or obviously you can use 4 2-yard cuts and that is it. And you will also need a 12-inch zipper. This is just a simple 12-inch all-purpose zipper, nothing fancy, probably from Amazon or Joann. Super easy to find everywhere. That you will be using for the pocket if you're adding the pocket. So this is what you need. Obviously a rotary cutter and I like to use my quilter ruler for cutting this project, and I will give you the measurement as we cut them, but I will also put them here and in the comments of the video. I will also put them here on the screen, so you can simply take a screenshot of the measurements and have them with you if you need them for other purposes, since there is no actual pattern to go with it. This is just rectangles and straight stitching. Super easy, big impact at the end. So without further ado, let's get into cutting. As I always do, I cut from the biggest piece to the smaller piece on all the patterns, and I will do the same thing for this one. I will start with the topper, which is simply stunning. Look at this. An adult topper, if you're not familiar, is approximately 2 yards by the width of fabric. Look how gorgeous this is. All the classics that we love to watch. If you join the Backstitch group on Facebook, you can see all the details of this print, as well as the strike sews of our amazing team. For the main panel, you will need a 54.5 by 70.5 cut, one for the front, one for the back. The seam allowance that I've selected to use in this project and to do for this pattern is it's a 1/4 of an inch. I've selected a 1/4 of an inch to make it serger friendly, and because I kind of love that seam allowance for blankets, I pretty much use 1/4 of an inch for all my blankets, regardless of any patterns. So we're going to fold this halfway. It's important that you keep everything straight. This is washed, so it does have a little roll on the edges, but that's okay. I do encourage you to pre-wash your fabric. Okay, so fold it nicely along the grain. Make sure it's not crooked. Okay. So you want the horizontal part to be 54.5 inches after you cut it. Now this is folded in two, so it would have to be 27.25, because when you double that, it's 54.5. So be careful if you cut it like that. Use whatever cutting method you prefer, as long as the finished cut of this is 54.5 horizontally and 70.5 vertically. And again, give yourself grace, give yourself some room for error, meaning that if you feel that at one point it's not super straight, you will be able to straighten it when sew it or cut it. So again, we're sewing for fun, we're sewing to enjoy the process, we're not looking for perfection. So it's not a millimetric project. Give yourself grace. All right. So I have, this is a 24 ruler. So I have 24 up to here, then 27.25. So it will fit most of it. Okay, so that's one side. We need to do the other side as well. When you work with Minky, it's good to have lint roller close by, just to remove some of the fluff that falls off on your cutting mat as you go, and even from your blanket, just to avoid having that in the air or in your machines. Look how much is off. Okay, so now let's go move to the bottom part. I'm sorry for my back in the frame. It is a big blanket, so you might find it easier to work on the floor with this. And I'm cutting, actually, let's do the length first. This way I will know exactly where we finish. So I'm going to fold this again one more time in half, just because I want to make sure, actually not in half, I'm looking at the graphic, so I want to make sure I keep all of the graphic, and fold it in half. Aligning the edge. Again, use whatever method you prefer to cut your blanket, as long as the finished cut is 54 by 75. Sorry, 54.5 by 70.5. Again, the numbers will be on the screen. Okay, so this is my blanket. See, I'm looking at the print. Cut in half. And I want to make sure this is 70.5, which means I needed 35.25. Alright, I folded this in half, and it looks like I'm almost, without any additional cutting, I'm at the 70.5 mark. Maybe a smidge less, but it's okay. We'll work with what we have. Like I said, we need to be flexible with this. Not all toppers are created the same. That's why I gave you the measurements. But again, feel free to estimate those measurements. It's okay. Like, it's not the end of the world if you mix and match and you have like a ½ inch difference. Okay, and this will be my side. That's 54.5. And I also did wash this, so there probably was a tiny bit of shrinkage in the wash. Alright, so we have our topper cut and ready. That's for the front of the project. Set that aside for now. Let's move on to cutting the coordinate that will go around the topper. So 18.5 by 70.5, and you need 2 of them for the front and also 2 of them for the back. I've designed this pattern for directional print, so be cautious of the directional prints when you cut your fabric. And again, 70.5, it's a little less than 2-yard cut, so this is designed to work with a 2-yard cut of fabric. A 2-yard cut is 72, so you should have a tiny bit of leftover. And again, I'm folding so I can cut only once. I'm folding it the wrong sides together along the selvage. This is not, and I repeat, not a quilter pattern. With quilting, you have to be super exact, super precise. This is not the case. We are doing a fun, minky blanket for your beds. So again, there's wiggle room, and allow yourself wiggle room and grace when you cut, and if it's not super perfect. Because again, it depends on the type of toppers you're using, from where you got it. Not all toppers are created the same, and they're millimetrically the same length and width. Okay, so this we need, let me see, because from what I remember when I did this, it was important how I cut the fabric from the yardage. Okay, so for this we're going to cut 18 by 70.5 like this. So I'm going to try to, and I'll cut only once because I have 2 pieces of fabric on top of each other. I'm aligning the selvage like so, so it fits on my cutting table. But again, you don't have to cut this way. As long as you get the measurements, find your preferred cutting method. And if you have an easier cutting method than what I'm showing right now, you're welcome to post it in the comments, or you're welcome to post it in the Backstitch Backroom. We're here to help each other. There's no gatekeeping with my channel. This is for all of us to work together and enjoy the process. Trying to make sure everything is nice and straight. There's no puckers and no folds. Okay, beautiful. So, because I need this long piece to be 70.5 approximately, I'm going to cut that first at 35.25, again approximately. Okay, so this is 24, and then I need 34, 35, and a little bit and a half. There. Like I said, have your cutter close by, have your lint roller close by to keep the mess to a minimum. And yes, we do have a little bit of excess minky. Great for like headbands afterwards. The minky cut is a little bigger usually than the topper. It's normal to have some excess from a 2-yard cut. Okay, so now we need 18.5 width. Okay, well, let me measure here 18.5 as well. Okay, and this should be the sides of the topper. Okay, and when you open it, you should have 2 pieces. See, there's 2 of them that are 18.5 by 70.5. This will go on the sides of the topper. Last but not least, we need to cut the bottom part of the border, and that is made of 5 pieces for each side that are 18.5 in width and 12.5 in length. Okay, I initially cut this with different measurements, but it would have required, to make it a little longer, but it would have required an additional 2-yard cut of fabric, and I figured let me keep this slightly smaller but it minimal fabric. I don't mind giving you the measurements for the other ones. If you want, just comment below and I'll give you those, but for now we'll have to cut it at 18.5. So 18.5 by 12 and a half. And you need to cut 5 of this. Trying to get it as straight as I can, although I'm telling you, you don't need to stress over this too much. Okay, so keep cutting those. Like I said, if you have extra minky around, you can definitely make it a little longer, and you'll have just a different longer panel on the bottom. The top stays the same. It's just how I did it the first time. And then realized I don't want to add more fabric to the project. So I'm just making it a smidge, a little bit shorter, but it's okay. It would still fit a queen anything. All right, so you should have 5. And they will go like this, so make sure that the direction is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so your bottom will have 5 pieces like so. Your top part will have a topper and the 2 sides, and you will repeat the exact same thing for the reverse. So whether you're using an adult topper or another 2-yard cut, you'll be doing the exact same thing on the reverse side, cutting 2 borders on the side, the piece in the middle, and the 12.5 by 18.5, 5 pieces for the bottom. Once you have everything cut, snap a photo of your progress of your pretty big pile of minky and post it in the day 1 photo of the Sew Along album. You can find the album in the Backstitch Backroom. As always, link is in the description of the video below. And that will be your check-in for day 1. Tomorrow on day 2, we'll sew the front, we'll sew the back, and then on day 3, we'll put it all together, including that cute hidden pocket for your little treasures. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye!